Mark Carney didn't waste any time after arriving in Japan. Within just a few hours of landing in Tokyo, the Canadian Prime Minister was already meeting with Japan's leader, signing a new strategic partnership that could significantly influence Canada's economic future. The agreement focuses on several key areas: energy cooperation, critical minerals, advanced technologies, defense collaboration, and perhaps most importantly, expanding access to new markets. And this is exactly the type of move Donald Trump would rather not see. Because every new partnership Canada builds outside the United States gives Ottawa something powerful: leverage. For years, Trump's economic strategy toward Canada has relied on one basic reality: Canada's heavy dependence on the U.S. market. But that leverage weakens every time Canada secures new trade and security partnerships with countries like India, Australia, and now Japan. And that's why this latest agreement in Tokyo matters so much. Prime Minister Mark Carney is currently in Japan, completing the final stop of his Indo-Pacific trade tour. Only hours after arriving in Tokyo, Carney and Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takichi announced a new comprehensive strategic partnership. The agreement aims to deepen cooperation in defense, energy, trade, and advanced technologies. Officials from both governments have also been instructed to quickly identify new investment opportunities. Energy projects are a major part of the deal, including expanded cooperation on liquefied natural gas. The two countries also plan to strengthen collaboration in the development and processing of critical minerals. The speed at which this agreement came together was remarkable. Shortly after landing in Tokyo, Carney sat down with Japan's leadership and unveiled a partnership focused on four key pillars: defense cooperation, energy security, trade expansion, and emerging technologies that will shape the global economy for decades. But the real significance goes beyond those headlines. Canada and Japan are aligning their strengths in industries that are increasingly defining global power. These include LNG production, critical mineral supply chains, semiconductor development, artificial intelligence, and next-generation clean energy technologies. These aren't just economic sectors, they are strategic assets. And Canada happens to possess exactly the resources Japan needs to secure its industrial future: reliable energy supplies, massive reserves of rare earth minerals, and a politically stable partner capable of supporting resilient supply chains. This means the agreement is not just symbolic diplomacy. It's a practical economic alliance designed to strengthen both nations while reducing their exposure to an uncertain global environment. And this is where the geopolitical dimension becomes clear. Because the deal isn't only about Canada and Japan, it's also about power and leverage. For years, Donald Trump has relied heavily on tariffs and economic pressure to force concessions from trading partners, including Canada. But that strategy only works if Canada has limited alternatives. Mark Carney appears determined to change that. From India to Australia and now Japan, Canada is building a network of partnerships centered around its greatest strengths: energy, natural resources, and advanced technologies. As those partnerships expand, Canada becomes less dependent on the United States. And when dependence declines, so does Washington's leverage. Tariffs become less effective. Economic threats lose impact. Canada gains greater bargaining power. In simple terms, the more partnerships Canada builds abroad, the less influence Washington has over its economic decisions. There's another important reason why these partnerships matter. Canada possesses some of the most valuable resources in the modern global economy: critical minerals used in advanced batteries, rare earth elements essential for electronics and defense systems, vast energy reserves capable of supporting large-scale industrial growth. These resources give Canada a unique advantage in building international trade relationships. Japan understands this better than most. Its highly advanced manufacturing sector depends on secure access to raw materials and reliable supply chains. But today, those supply chains are increasingly vulnerable. China dominates much of the world's rare earth processing. Meanwhile, the United States has been adopting more protectionist trade policies. As a result, countries like Japan are actively searching for stable and trustworthy partners. Canada fits that role almost perfectly. It offers political stability, enormous natural resources, and a strong reputation for reliability in international trade. For Japan, Canada isn't just another trading partner. It's becoming a strategic economic ally. When you look at the bigger picture, these agreements are clearly part of a broader strategy. What we're seeing is not a series of isolated diplomatic visits. It's the construction of a wider network of economic partnerships across the Indo-Pacific region. Carney has already strengthened ties with India, expanded cooperation with Australia, and now secured a strategic partnership with Japan. Each agreement focuses on industries where Canada holds global influence: energy, critical minerals, advanced technology, and defense collaboration. Taken together, these partnerships could eventually form the foundation of something much larger. Some analysts believe Carney is attempting to connect Indo-Pacific partnerships with European alliances, potentially creating a powerful global economic network. If that vision comes together, it could link Canada with major economies across Asia and Europe, forming a trading system that is less dependent on the United States. That wouldn't replace Canada's relationship with America, but it would rebalance it. And that balance could give Canada far greater negotiating strength in the future. Just look at the timeline. Within weeks, Carney has signed major agreements in India, strengthened strategic ties with Australia, and now secured a partnership with Japan almost immediately after landing. This is diplomacy moving at an unusually rapid pace, and every agreement sends the same message. Canada is no longer relying on a single partner or a single market. Instead, it's building a global network of economic relationships designed to expand its options and strengthen its position. For Donald Trump, that could be a serious challenge. Because the more partners Canada has, the less effective economic pressure becomes. And the more influence